Hello everyone, welcome back again to Liverpool Report today. We've got the latest updates on our beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of Liverpool Report news. Let's get started. Arneslot has dismissed concerns over the form of Virgil van Dijk after a rare individual error from the skipper helped consign Liverpool to defeat at Fulham. Van Dijk failed to deal with a high ball, which allowed Rodrigo Muniz to score what ultimately proved the winning goal as the Reds slumped to a 3-2 Premier League loss at Craven Cottage on Sunday afternoon. The Dutchman had escaped in midweek when a mistake sent Everton striker Beto clear only for the striker to hit the post before Liverpool went on to win 1-0. But Slot preferred to concentrate on the quality of the opposing forwards rather than the uncharacteristic missteps by his captain. "I mainly give credit to other players as well," said Slot. "If you look at Beto, Virgil wasn't the first defender to find it hard to play against him as he chases for every ball, pushes you just before you get the ball. The one who played there today, you have to give a lot of credit to him as well. I still see a lot of things that Virgil does really well. If you play 50 to 60 games a season, even for Virgil, there will be one or two moments where he could have done better. I don't worry about Virgil." At Fulham, Slot made just one change from the side that beat Everton 4 days earlier with Cody Gakpo replacing Luis Diaz. Diaz replaced the Holland international in the second half and gave Liverpool hope of a comeback with a well-taken goal after Alexis Mac Allister's early opener had been wiped out before the break by strikes from Ryan Sessegnon, Alex Iwobi and Muniz. But when asked if he regretted not greater rotating his team, Slot said no. There were 4 days in between, and we've shown many times this season that's not a problem for us. I don't think the errors we made had anything to do with players being tired. I know how it works. If you concede 3 goals in the first half, then everyone is like, wow, that's a disaster. But if you look back at it, you will probably see a few good moments as well in the build-up. After half an hour, I looked at the scoreboard and it was 1-1. I was like, okay, not our best game, but we have control. All of a sudden, I blinked my eyes and we were 3-1 down. Liverpool's loss to Fulham on Sunday might not have seriously harmed their title chances, but has seen the Reds miss out on the chance to break a Premier League record. Arne Slot's men were beaten 3-2 at Craven Cottage, despite taking an early lead through a sublime strike from Alexis Mac Allister. Goals from Fulham trio, Ryan Sessegnon, Alex Iwobi and Rodrigo Muniz, punished Liverpool for their error-ridden performance, and the hosts were 3-1 up by half-time. Luis Diaz pulled a goal back in the second half, but it was too little too late, as Liverpool suffered their first league defeat away from home this season. Fortunately, title rivals Arsenal also dropped points on Saturday, as they were forced to settle for a 1-1 draw against Everton. Both results mean that the Reds are still 11 points clear at the top of the table, with 7 games to go. Liverpool's only loss in the league prior to Sunday came at Anfield, as Nottingham Forest pulled off a shock 2-1 victory back in September. Had they avoided defeat in their final 4 matches on the road, trips to Fulham, Leicester, Chelsea and Brighton, they'd have become only the 5th team in English top-flight history to go a full season unbeaten away from home. But Slot's men were unable to extend their 17-game streak, stretching back to April 2024, when Jurgen Klopp was still in charge. Manchester United set the record for the longest unbeaten away run in Premier League history a few years ago under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, going 29 games without losing between February 2020 and September 2021. Solskjaer and co. surpassed Arsenal's previous record of 27 matches, which was set between April 2003 and September 2003-2004, coincidentally broken by United. However, there's no question that Solskjaer would have swapped his record for what Slot is on the cusp of achieving in his first season as a Premier League manager. The earliest Liverpool can secure the title is now Sunday, April 20th, when they visit relegation-battling Leicester. Slot will be hoping for an improved performance compared to his side's display against Fulham. The Reds boss said post-match everybody needs to be aware, and they are, so actually I didn't even need to tell them that the only way we can win a game of football is by hard work, 90 minutes of constant effort. Because I've said it a few times now, we are not the team that are leading at half-time with 3-0 or 4-0 with 3, 4 or 5 acts of brilliance. It is hard work every time we won a game of football this season, except for 2 or 3 games. Arneslot has pushed back on the idea that a lack of rotation cost his Liverpool team after they suffered a rare loss. 4 days after beating Everton, the Reds were undone on the road for the first time in the Premier League this season, as Fulham secured a 3-2 victory. All 3 of their goals came during a 15-minute spell in the first half, with Slot opting to make just the one change from the starting 18th that began against the Toffees at Anfield in midweek. The Dutchman has used a very small pool of players, which has led the club to the summit of the Premier League. However, some have questioned whether his selection policy will eventually count against the Reds. Liverpool have recently been knocked out of 2 competitions and have now been beaten in the capital. Slot, though, rejected the notion that not changing his personnel contributed to their second league loss of the season. No, he said when questioned post-match. Not because of that reason, because there were 4 days in between, and we've shown many times this season that that's not a problem at all for us. These players as well, I don't think the errors we've made have anything to do with players being tired. And again, I know how it works. It's everywhere the same in football. If you concede 3 goals in the first half, everybody is like, wow, that was a disaster. Now, if you look back on it, knowing that you concede 3, you will probably see a few good moments as well. Because there were also good moments from us in build-up. I think on the half hour I looked, and it was 1-1. I was like, okay, it's not our best game, but we have control over the game. But then all of a sudden, I blinked my eyes, and we were 3-1 down. Cody Gakpo starting instead of Luis Diaz was the only change made, and Jamie Carragher has commented on how Slot does not seem to trust backup options he has in his squad, with several players barely getting a look in despite the amount of games they play. Now, if you look back on it, knowing that you concede 3, you will probably see a few good moments as well, because there were also good moments from us in build-up. I think on the half hour I looked, and it was 1-1, I was like, okay, it's not our best game, but we have control over the game. But then all of a sudden, I blinked my eyes and we were 3-1 down. Cody Gakpo starting instead of Luis Diaz was the only change made, and Jamie Carragher has commented on how Slot does not seem to trust backup options he has in his squad, with several players barely getting a look in despite the amount of games they play. He recently said, the Liverpool manager has tended to favour the same starters from a preferred pool of 14 or 15. He does not seem to trust backup options such as Harveyelliott or Wataru Endo unless there is no option. Up until early February, the Reds were still playing in 4 competitions, which often meant they were playing 2 or 3 times per week. Yet players like Elliott and Endo haven't started a single league game. Joe Gomez has started just 6 times, with Slot seemingly very clear on who his best set of players are.